Kia ora, kia ora. Kia ora, welcome. Just
Hello,
wait.
Ruth. Should I put myself the other way? Hold on a sec.
Yeah, it might be a little bit confusing for people. It'll be like
Ah,
this.
one
Unless I
sec.
go like that. I could go like that too, actually, and then
Yeah.
people can hold the phone sideways. That's probably better. Right. Look at us.
Does that work? Or should I
Yeah.
turn it?
No, that works. I'll just put my phone in in the tripod. Just setting it up at the
Nice.
moment
Oh, in the sun.
in the sun.
How
It's
cold is it?
yeah, it's not warm, but it's sunny at least.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Ah, thanks for having us live on your account. I
That's,
hope.
that's my pleasure. Yeah. Oh, good to
Is
see
it
you, Nova.
visible for people? Just a quick check. Or are we sideways? Should we turn?
Be hard to read the comments as well. That's all right. I've got I've got some questions from people that I asked in a question box a couple of weeks ago because I was actually going to record a podcast on this exact topic, and I haven't got around to it yet. So this will be a great sort of opportunity to talk into some of those as well. Are you still there? I don't know. Have I frozen or is Nova frozen? Too hard to type and watch sideways. Okay, we'll go up and down. Thanks for that, Matt. I might have to restart. Hang on.
Oh,
Here we go.
okay. I'm fixed. I don't know what happened. I disappeared, but it was good.
She's back.
I'm back.
Too many high vibrations from you, Nova.
There's too much happening, and the sideways thing clearly wasn't
Yeah.
happening. So I just
I
let's
just
flip it.
I read a comment saying it was going to be too hard to read and then
Yeah,
type things sideways. So
done.
we'll do the
Noted.
normal thing.
Thank you.
I think before we get started, let's just take a few breaths together. And anyone that's joining, just close down your eyes. And what we'll do is I'm going to breathe in through the nose and a prolonged exhale out the mouth for 5 breaths. Just closing down the eyes. A slow, deep breath in through the nose. Letting it out gently. Fully in. Three more. Fully in. Fully in. Last one. Deep, full inhale. Letting it go. And just opening your eyes when you're ready. Here we are. I do that for myself just as much as it is for anyone else.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. That's the way. That's the way to start anything. Yeah, something that I definitely learned from you. So appreciate you for that.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's been a beautiful journey. The breath, but also connecting it in with the body and how it operates best through what we consume. It's such an interconnected relationship, I feel.
It really is, isn't it? Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Mm.
I wanted to start with letting everyone know a little bit about you and your story. So please do share. Start wherever you want to start.
Yeah. Well, hi. I'm Roo. I'm an Olympic badminton player. No, I've been on this inner journey for since about 2019. I had a really crazy experience where I started learning to meditate, and I had a little bit of cannabis, and basically I was doing a Joe Dispenza meditation, and my heart exploded open. I felt like I was at the center of the universe, radiating love into everyone and everything. And since that moment, it's been this journey of not only wanting to share that energy of wholeness that I felt in that moment with as many people as I possibly could, but it was a continual journey of inner exploration and seeing what was our potential in this human lifetime. And it's been a really interesting journey. It led down the path of breath work and sharing that with a lot of people, finding stillness within, because I still feel that that is a key part in bringing more peace and joy into our life. And then as that evolved, as I evolved, I reconnected with you, because you actually came to one of those sessions, or quite a few of them back in the day. I remember you
Yeah.
walking around with a bottle of watermelon juice going, "Who's this crazy lady?" There she is. and and it wasn't till like 3 years later that I reached out to you after my body started rejecting meat, basically, and I was feeling heavy and quite inflamed on the animal-based diet, which actually helped me a lot at the beginning, because I was coming off a more mainstream, processed foods and things. So it was a really big transition. It helped me a lot. But then I felt like there was another level. There was continual evolution. And so I reached out to you, and the rest was history in terms of what, like, detoxification and starting to learn how to clean my body on a cellular level. And it all started to click and make a lot of sense. So, yeah, I really basically help people connect with themselves to live the greatest potential. And I use different methods for that: movement, breath, detoxification, community, and then service, like sharing and building your own business. So those are my passions. I love being outside in nature. And, especially this last year or so, I've found, since I've been on this fruitful detoxification journey, it's a sense of connection with nature. Like, I can smell flowers and it gives me energy. I'll sit in the sun as much as I can all day, and it's really brought a sense of, yeah, interconnectedness with the world around me. And yeah, you've been a big part of that. So thank you, Nova.
Thank you. Um, the evolution that I've seen within you, is like the expansion has been massive, and even from afar, we aren't in contact too much, but just it's been huge since those days on the beach, which was excuse me, 2020.
Mm,
Was it
yeah,
2020? Yeah,
20,
yeah.
20. Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
funny. I was actually just looking back through, I found my old phone, and I actually deleted all of my photos on my phone because I was running out of storage. And I was like, you know what? This is a good practice to let go. This is the kind of shit I do. And so I deleted everything, non-recoverable. But I found my old phone, and it still had some photos of, back in the day, and the inflammation in my face. And I thought I was really healthy at the time, which I was,
mm,
like, to a certain extent, but there's levels to it, obviously, and just the inflammation was a big one that was very apparent. looking back, you know, just a couple of years ago when I was
Mm.
doing that.
Isn't it interesting though? Because not many people can see that until you've actually changed, you know, and changed your diet and removed all that inflammation and all the waste and all of that, right? We think it's normal as a society that we're all inflamed and huge. I mean, you're a big muscly dude, you know, you
Mm.
tall and built, because your background is football, right? In New Zealand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like growing up a rugby player on a farm. Um, yeah, it was a very you know, masculine kind of environment. Yeah, it's
A good
like
way to put it.
you just grow up eating meat and all the things. I used to just eat anything and everything, and I got away with it because I exercised so much. I was training every day, twice a day, a lot of the time. So it made it very. Dad's just putting on the sprinkler. I've just got home to New Zealand at the moment. Dad, could you please give me 30 minutes?
Love you, Dad.
Thanks, love you. Um, yeah, so the rugby background, the farming background, it was you know, you don't really think about these, or you don't really question your food intake and how that's impacting your health. You just think, oh, I'll exercise and I'm healthy.
Pile it in.
That's how it was for me, and yeah, like I got away with it. You could see the inflammation in my face, but it started getting to a point where, you know, I'd get sick a couple of times a year, every year, get like the mucus build up, and that's the body. And now I look back, I go, that was my body just getting so filled up and it needing to go, hang on, I'm going to stop you here. And then we're going to get rid of a whole heap of crap that you've been putting in, and the toxins and the build up of you know, or accumulation of the waste, and 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 get rid of some of it. And that would happen year after year, almost to the day. You know, August, like coming up to my birthday, I would be bedridden for a week or two with what do you call it? The
Quite.
lung infection.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
your parents
it's
catch.
now I haven't been sick. Well, I've had these like they seem more like energetic purges or
Mm.
deep these deep detoxification periods, and it's
Mm-hmm.
more of like this real inner experience rather than it is an illness or like this you know, sickness.
Yeah. In terms of it,
Mm.
what do you feel in those moments or in those times?
It's like it's a shedding of my mind and my ego and identities that I've created throughout my life, and it generally comes with a purging of, you know, out the. You know, I wonder where it keeps coming from, and then sometimes it's vomiting as well, and that would, and I wouldn't take any. I wouldn't go to a doctor because I just give me antibiotics or whatever, and I'd give it a couple of days, and then a few days after, I feel like the best I've ever felt. I feel like a reborn human being, and
Yep.
so I just surrender into those experiences. I don't take any painkillers or anything. I allow myself to feel it, and allow those sensations to be present in the body without judgment. And this is a really hard practice. This is something that I've come to understand to be one of the most liberating things we can do as a human being, is to allow uncomfortable sensation to arise in the body, and then when we can feel it without judgment, it allows it to dissolve and be transmuted. And then from there, we've got more space, we've got more creativity and life force energy. But it's not an easy process. It's something that 99.9% of human beings avoid their entire life, is to feel those things that are buried. And some of them are unconsciously buried, some of them are consciously buried. But they'll arise, you know, at different times throughout our life, and it's allowing ourselves to be present with them and feel them to allow them to be free.
Yeah, I love how you put that. That's what detoxification is. Just
Mm.
that's what it is. It's on every level. You
Yeah,
can't avoid it. And
no.
when you move through it, right? So especially in a process of fasting, like you can juice fast on watermelon juice, an extended period of time. You are forcing yourself to be with yourself.
Mm.
And that is the the biggest healing
Yeah.
because we don't do that
Hmm.
ever. So busy, even the food situation is the most widespread, I guess, unacknowledged, cover up, basically, of emotions. Suppressing of everything, an excuse for anything to avoid, to distract, right? And we don't even realize that we're doing it. We've done it our whole lives, even with quote unquote healthy food or drinks or whatever it is, but we always have something to distract or avoid or whatever from what's happening
Mm.
inside. And so when we go through this process, it's not called the deepest journey within for nothing. Like it is knowing yourself
Yeah.
on a cellular level, on a soul level, facing those things come up, right? We talk about detox symptoms and everyone thinks of physical symptoms, right? Which, yes, we do have some physical symptoms that happen. They come along with energetic and emotional stored traumas and memories and things
Mm.
that are linked in with that gunk, that physical gunk, right? And that stuff just dissolves and comes up. And guess what? You're not gonna go and grab your burger. You're not gonna go get cookies. You're gonna sit there and acknowledge it and just watch it. And that's the healing without judgment, as you said, as an observer. And you might
Mm.
feel it. Yeah, it's really uncomfortable. I really want to do something about it. I want to do something else. But if you just keep observing, keep watching, and just move the body or breathe or just sit there or,
Mm.
watch it just kind of fizzle away. And then it's but a memory without charge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like exactly what you're talking about was my experience, and I remember you saying to me it was going to be an emotional experience, and like the people that I take through a transition, uh, I preface it with that this is just as much an emotional experience as it is the physical shift of what we're consuming. And yeah, I remember my entire life changed when this was happening. I transitioned away from Call to Be Conscious, the breath and meditation movement that I founded with my mate Ryan, and um, that was all let go of. There was the physical, strong, athlete, rugby player dude that I was letting go of. Uh, I remember having memories of, the grief that I hadn't processed, crying about a little dog that, he was like my best mate, and he never, went out one day and never returned. Little things like that, like my grandparents' funerals. It was it was intense, but I'm so grateful for that experience because it allowed me to create that freedom and dissolve those undissolved energy that was obviously still in my body. And the food is just a means of doing that. And there's no better way because you're also cleaning the physical vessel as well. And I don't know like what direction you want to take with this, but the herbs and using these beautiful plants from nature that are so deeply connected with the human body, and it's like mind blowing to see like the different herbs and the seeds or whatever they might be, the fruits. Oftentimes, the shape of them will be corresponding with the shapes of our organs and the organs that they support best. And for me, there's no coincidence in that. When we can get beyond this mind that needs to analyze and make sense of everything and just go, well what is nature trying to tell us? What is the relationship we have there? And it's often the most simple, obvious things. You know, the bright colors of fruits that fall off trees that taste amazing and hydrate the body. You know, that makes a lot of sense to eat those things. Um, so yeah, the herbal mix was a really powerful one for me because I had a lot of, most people have about 5 to 10 kilos of mucoid plaque built up on the inner linings of the gastrointestinal tract. And for me, that was, I was like, are you sure? And then when I started taking the herbs, and then I did 3 months of this with you, and seeing what was coming out of my body and the stench of it, it was quite revolting, but also felt really good at the same time.
Free.
Freeing. And as that shit came out, and the way I look at it is I used to eat so much to suppress these emotions. I had a lot of frustration and anger in my body, and I would eat to suppress that, you know, and I was always hangry. I'd get frustrated really easily, you know, if people, you know, like didn't clean the dishes or whatever when I was flatting, and I'd eat to suppress those emotions and feelings. And what that ended up accumulating in the gut, and as that came out, that anger and frustration started arising. But I, you know, same again, that same process, I allowed myself to, you know, to really feel it, and it wasn't like I went in and started like screaming and forced myself to. I would go down to the beach and I'd let myself, I'd try and surrender the mind and then let the body express how it wanted to express. And oftentimes it was like a constricting, like squeezing. It felt like wringing out a dirty towel. And that's the best way I can explain it. And it wasn't like overnight everything was sunshine and rainbows, but it was a process that I knew I was here to do, and we set that goal of 3 months and did 3 months of the Love Sludge Quenda, the beautiful herbal mix made by these beautiful Australian couple, and the fruit, and then it became really clear what for me, and I don't know where you sit with this, Nova, but for me, freedom is number one. So I don't identify as a fruitarian or a vegan or anything like that. If I want to, I can go and have a steak. I can go eat a pizza, and I've done that. I've eaten a pizza and a burger and things like that. But after that deep cleanse, and I do that and eat that thing, it's really obvious that that's not meant to go on my human body, because I get this instant reaction which I never used to get from eating these sorts of things. And it's normally like the mucus buildup, clogging in the sinuses, maybe a little bit of inflammation in the throat, sore tummy, bloating, whatever it is. And it's just really clear. It makes it a little bit easier to avoid that addiction, which it is, in the future. You know, the salt, oil, and sugar, we're completely addicted to these drugs as human beings. And, you know, it's from babies we've been fed this shit. So
That's fun.
it takes a while to let go of it. And
Yeah.
I still find, especially the salt's the hardest one to let go of for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty normal one, isn't it? I love what you said, because freedom is above all. And what we think in the beginning is not freedom, right? Because we think that we're restricting what we're going to consume. And sometimes when we're coming at it from that mindset and from having to do it because of something, right? It's all mind. It's not, I mean, I'm not saying that it's not the right approach, because sometimes you have to go with that to begin with, but you know, you're going to struggle more from there. So there's a natural progression that happens. Yes, you might have to take that first step and dive in and clean out as much as you can, because then what you realize is what you said. Once you go back into different foods, your body is so clear of the gunk, of the mucus, of the stuff that was sitting there you know, shock absorbing the shiz that we were eating our whole lives. Literally, that's what it was doing, but causing symptoms as well and inflammation and problems. But it was shock absorbing, right? The foods, we were eating that stuff every day, right? And we didn't feel it the same way because we weren't feeling the same way. But once we clean out and, you know, we're like, oh, you know, I want to eat that. And we go and eat it straight away. Our body just goes, mucus response. What is that? That's an inflammatory response. That's a foreign food, foreign stuff.
Yep.
Got to protect myself.
Get out.
Get out. And that, you know, and that's what it is. Anything that's cold and flu, any sort of symptom like that, ejection. That's ejection from the body. Vomiting is ejection from the body. Diarrhea is ejection. You know, profusely sweating is ejection. Mucus is ejection. Mucus in the eyes, everything, pimples, it's all ejection from the body, right? So it's just the body trying to get the shit out, basically. And it's quite interesting. So the process of moving towards, you know, a more and more aligned path is a free journey. And that's, you know, that for me, that's above everything else as well.
Yeah.
Freedom. Yes, I could choose to eat whatever I wanted to. I could eat the pine tree, but I don't want to. You know, and if I did, well, I'll probably react to it, and that's okay. That's just an experience. It's all experiences, right? But it's a different awareness that we have now. Yeah.
For me, it's definitely evolved my view on the world and our relationship with animals and the plants and fauna. You know, like this has taken me to the likes of Bali and Thailand and meet so many incredible humans. And like you're saying, we think it's restrictive and people think it's really extreme, but it's so far from it. When you when you start understanding what the human body thrives with through experience, you look back at your old self and think that was fucking extreme how I used to eat. So far away from what this human potential is in this lifetime. And the freedom piece is so paramount. And you know, like things like a durian, like if people haven't eaten a durian before, it's this spiky fruit that grows in, you know, tropical and semi-tropical climates, and they call it the king of the fruits, and it's got these spikes around it, and then you open it up, it's got these pods in it that look like they're fucking little aliens, and they're soft and they taste like custard, creamy caramel, vanilla, fucking mind-blowing goodness. It is the most delicious thing I've ever eaten, bar none. And that grows on a tree, and that is good for my body. And it's, you know, these things are in nature, like a mangosteen or a good mango, or a nice fucking apricot. Like everything is so good when it's ripe and in season. It's not limiting at all, but it has definitely encouraged me or pulled me towards the warmer climates. I've always been someone who enjoys the warmer climates and the sunshine. Like being back here in New Zealand, it's definitely a little bit more challenging. Not saying it's impossible, but it's it's just interesting how your intuitive guidance, where it directs you and pulls you.
Yeah. Yeah, we are a tropical species.
That also gets a lot clearer when the body's lighter and clearer too.
Yeah, yeah, it evolves, isn't it? And I wanted to talk about that actually, in terms of the changes in your body, mind, soul, and energy, right? When you know, before, as you know, with your breath work, for example, to now, like how has it evolved? How has it changed? like with the diet, being,
Yeah.
different, obviously.
Basically, you'll find this interesting. Sometimes I won't sleep for a couple of days, and I'm completely sweet, no stimulants, nothing. And back in, even just 3 or 4 years ago, I'd be sort of up and down, crash, think I need food for energy. And it was like, no, I was just getting the stimulation to give this little bit of dopamine, this rush to my brain. And that brought me alive. But now it's more of a limitless energy. I feel more at ease in my body than I ever have. My breath rate is definitely slower. You look at the animals that live the longest on the planet, they breathe the slowest.
Yeah.
So this has just naturally slowed my cadence of breathing and my heart rate so I can be more present and just here and now. And that's really the key to life and living a harmonious, peaceful existence is being here.
Yeah.
Like talking to you right now, enjoying the sun on my skin, feeling the cold stones under my feet. That's what we're really creating for our human vessel through detoxification. It's bringing alive our humanness even more.
Yeah. More
What was
of us.
the
I love it. I love how, you went there. How different your breath work practice, or your breath itself, before and now, I guess. Because now, are you mostly on fruit? You have been mostly on fruit, haven't you?
Mostly, especially when I was in the tropics, it was easy as.
Yeah.
Being back here, it's a little bit more difficult. I've definitely in Australia, like I definitely included. I was doing some raw tacos, so I'd get the little cos lettuce and then make a nice sauce with some tomatoes and stuff. But yeah, even like I had some toast the other day with avocado on it, and instantly, fuck, that's the
Mucus.
thing. It's a blessing and a curse, Like
Yeah, yeah.
you can't get away with anything. You can't get away with anything because the body knows. It'll tell you what it wants in it and what it doesn't once you've done a deep clean. And I've actually got back on the Quenda because it's been over a year since we went through that 3 month
Yeah.
process, and I've eaten different things here and there. So I'm just it's a constant. You look after your car all the time. It's not like you do it once and it's done forever. So I'll give it a little clean here and there, and I'll put the right fuel in it. I'll care for it, and hopefully it will last a long time. And it's something that I can enjoy this experience in.
200 years plus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Minimum.
And a lot of it is here. So much of this is here. It's the belief systems, because what we believe. Like, even looking back, if I believed all that crap and processed foods was not good for me and killing me, I would have been in a lot worse place. But I would always tell myself, no, this is good for me. It's helping me grow as energy, whatever. So I believe my belief process really helped, but there's also a physical element that it does catch up over time.
Yeah.
And it's being aware of how we're thinking and what we believe to be true. And I feel the way I do it is I look to people that are radiating health, that are radiating love and an energy and a peace that I want to create in my life, and I'll listen to them. I'll listen to what they do and what they share. And it led me to people like yourself, like John Rose, and others that just emanate life and health. I was like, fuck, I'm going to listen to these people rather than the fat old doctor over there with skin rashes and who's on 3 different medications, It's like, it's so fucking obvious, but it's not common practice.
No, it's sad, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. John Rose. Gosh, love John Rose. Yeah. Radiating health. Those are the ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something there. Like you now. Not that you weren't
Yeah.
before. You had a radiating energy and drive, you know. Um, and the breath must have been one of the biggest things for that, because the breath comes first above anything else. And I say that all the time.
Yeah.
You don't breathe properly. Yeah, we can do all of these other things, but you've really got to pay attention to your breath, you know, to nose breathing, mouth breathing, to breathing slow and deep, and to calming the nervous system, and yeah, and being more present, because when we're not breathing properly, we're not present, and
Absolutely.
presence is all we have. So yeah,
It's such
yeah.
yeah, it's a relationship. It's a symbiotic relationship with all of these things. A holistic way of living. It's not just one thing, and then that's it. You know,
Mm.
it's how we live. It's our whole lifestyle, and I see the food as a transition as well as like the whole lifestyle transition. It's like, where do you want to be in your life? How do you want to live? Seeing that in your mind's eye, rehearsing it. This is Joe Dispenza's stuff, and it's creating that reality that you would like to live every single day, seeing that future version of you, and not only seeing it, but allowing those feelings of that future version of you to be present and arise in your body in the now. And
Mm.
what happens is your physiology starts shifting. The chemistry in your body, your blood changes when you do this, because you start thinking more limitless thoughts. You start being able to shift the habits and behaviors in accordance to what this future version of you and how they live. And because you've rehearsed it and you've walked through a day in your mind as this future version of you, you can bring that into your daily practice. And before you know it, that future version of you is your reality.
Mm.
And the the food for me has been a big one that I've really wanted to shift, because it had control over me. You know, I was a slave to my feelings and emotions when it came to food, um, and it's been a transitionary process away from that. But it's one that I'm so grateful for, and the
Mm.
guidance along the way, Nova, has been really really helpful. So I just want to
Oh,
personally thank you for that as well.
thanks, Rue. Thanks, Rue. Likewise with the breath. So it's
Mm,
been mutual. Um, I love what you
amazing.
said there with the food having a hold on you. And, you know, most of us, we don't realize how much of a hold the food actually has on us on every level. And yeah, that's not freedom.
No,
If you can't do a fast, you're not free. I'm going to say it straight up, you know, because you're attached, you're addicted,
yeah,
you know, yeah. So that's something in itself. If you ask yourself and you give it a go and say, okay, I'm going to try and fast for 3 days. I'm just going to do a fast for 3 days on juices. It's a lot easier, right? It's really easy. And you can't do it, then really you got to realize that there's work to do there. If what you want is freedom,
yeah,
yeah, that's a big place to look.
yeah. A beautiful way to put it. It's actually where I started. Even just intermittent fasting, like 16 hours of the day where I'm not eating, and that really helped. Like that was actually a start into this transition, um, and it helped my body composition a lot. But it was as much a mental practice as it was doing it for my health. Um, so yeah, anything that you can do, and the thing is, your intuition is going to guide you on what you need to do. It may be doing 3 months in juice. It may be doing a 3 day fast. It may be doing, skipping your breakfast once a week, or swapping it with a mono fruit meal, like just
Mm.
a one fruit meal. And that's what I actually recommend a lot of people that are curious but they're not ready to go all the way in. Is like, okay, move your don't eat till 10 a.m. at least, and instead of having your normal breakfast, just have a single fruit, and
Yep.
ideally watermelon or something really
Yep.
hydrating. And that's
Papaya.
really gonna give your body a good amount of rest, or the digestion a lot of time to rest, because that's what we haven't given it for this whole lifetime, is we've not allowed our digestive system, which actually requires the most amount of energy besides our brain, to operate. And we're constantly eating, and all of our energy is constantly having to go into our digestion. But when we start fueling it with hydrating fruits, it takes very little energy to digest. We get a lot of liquid energy in terms of the biophotons, the stored sunlight energy to fuel our body, and we end up having more energy. We don't need to sleep as much. And people go, oh, 8 hours and shit. That's again another belief thing. It's
Yeah.
bullshit. You don't need 8 hours of sleep. It's bullshit. You get on this light diet, you'll realize how little amount of sleep you need. And
Yeah.
it's not it doesn't only go into that, but your creative side. I found my creativity come online a lot more. But I think I just saw a question in here
Yeah.
around the protein.
Yeah. I was going to ask you after you said, what's your source of protein, Roo?
Fruit.
That's right.
And so the misconception is, and that was a big question that I started with you,
Yeah.
is how are we going to maintain muscle and without any protein? So protein is actually quite a complex structure, and it takes a lot of energy for the body to break down. And the byproduct of that is an acid ash. And there's two sides of chemistry: you got acid and alkaline. And over time, through a lot of the foods that we eat, the body becomes very acidic. It's actually how the body ends up creating cancer and tumors and skin rashes and illnesses and diseases. Normally, just a very acidic buildup of food in our system. And so the protein one was a really hard one for me to get my head around. But what actually builds muscle in the human body is the essential amino acids that are found in protein. But the fruit actually has essential amino acids in it. So we can actually get all of those if we eat a variety of fruits. Eat the rainbow is what you and I both say. And I also supplement, just to be sure, I don't need to do this, I supplement with marine phytoplankton, which is the life force of the ocean. Is basically what fuels all animals in the ocean. And it's got every single mineral and vitamin that the body needs. And it has got all the essential amino acids and fatty acids. So it's got everything that you could possibly imagine. So I supplement with that. But again, that's just a natural thing from the ocean. And it's actually, like, this journey's led me to connect a lot more with the ocean. We'll talk about that another time. And I use shilajit. So this is another thing that oozes out from the core of the earth. It was originally found in the Himalayas. It's like this black goo,
Yeah.
and you just take a tiny little bit of that, and it's full of all the minerals and essential amino acids that the body needs. So interestingly, I was obsessed with training. It was more of an ego driven thing, wanting to be big and jacked. But over the last year and 4 or 5 months since I started doing this, I've barely trained. And it's been because I've wanted to, it's just been a natural thing of letting go of that image, letting go of that need to be big and strong. But it's also led me to, sorry, I just got distracted.
You're right.
Uh,
With the protein and the letting go of exercise.
yeah, letting go of exercise. So it's been about a year and 4 or 5 months, and I've like very inconsistently exercised. I could do some sprints and just things to keep things ticking. But it's been this, like, now I'm getting to the stage where I'm excited to rebuild this body, but with all of the knowledge that I now have, and do it in such a clean way. Build this muscle without any inflammation or acidic waste from over excessive consumption of protein. And it's something that I've talked about a little bit on my Instagram, but I want to document and share that journey, because I know, I've already put on a little bit of muscle. I was getting really skinny at one stage, and that was hard for me to let go of that external perceived judgment. People, thinking I've, lost it and gone real sick and stuff like this, but I was feeling healthier and cleaner than I ever had.
Yeah.
But I also want to feel strong and able and athletic as a man, and that's a journey that I'm, just beginning now. So for those that are interested, I'll be sharing a lot more about that in the coming months.
Yeah. Watch this space as he rebuilds on the good stuff. Because you can. I mean, your body goes through that process of shedding all that doesn't belong. And a lot of that, most of it was actually built on acids and inflammation. And there's so much gunk. We're talking about in between trillions of cells, and that's the lymphatic system. And clearing that takes time. And you remove a lot of mass of the appearance of your body. We think we're meant to look huge, but we're actually not. Look at the skeleton of that person that's huge on the outside, and it'll be the same size as the other person who's fit and an Olympic athlete, basically. Really strong, but the body is different, right? So we have the perception. But that's amazing that you've gone through that process now of letting it all go. That's really hard for men. I mean, I get questions all the time from men, and concerns. It's the biggest concern. I don't want to lose mass. I don't want to lose muscle. I don't want to look skinny. I don't, it's like, I know, I get it. I don't mean I don't get it myself because I'm not a man, but the process is one that you have to choose if you want to choose it, and it's a temporary process, and you can rebuild on fruits, you can rebuild on juice, you can rebuild on raw foods, on some microgreens, on some phytoplankton on top of the fruit. Like, you can actually build even bigger muscles if you want to, just not inflamed bubble type.
The spiritual process. It's it's a deep inner journey, but it's so worth it. And your body will thank you for it. You'll live longer, healthier. Your joints are going to be more free and able late into life. And
pain. What about pain?
we don't want that. That's not much fun.
No, it's not fun.
But what it is, it's like the body responds to how you move it. And the reason I've lost, I feel, a bit of muscle is because I haven't moved it. And it's because I've intuitively needed to rest. Like, being a professional athlete and a rugby player majority of my life, I had a really beaten up body, and it needed a lot of time to rest. So the beginning of the journey, I was actually sleeping a lot. My body needed to rest. It was asking for like deep rest, deep rejuvenation. And so it was surrendering to what my body was asking of it. And now it's got to a point, okay, I'm ready to see what's possible in terms of rebuilding. And if you look at, all these great scientists and philosophers like Einstein and Tesla and things, they all talk about, look at the universe in terms of energy and frequency and vibration. And the body is the universe. The body is that. It's just in a smaller version. I'm just jumping out so I can get a little bit more sun before it goes. And so if we give it the greatest form of energy, which in my opinion now from my experience of trying all these different diets and especially what I've been doing recently, if I move my body in a way that it will respond by getting stronger, and then I give it a high vibrational energy in terms of fruit and some raw vegetables and the phytoplankton and things like that, I've absolutely no doubt it's going to grow back and with greater strength and vitality, you know. So it's something I'm actually still wanting to really dive into, but I haven't done it fully yet. So we're getting there though.
Just that's the path now. I'm excited to see that part, you know, that journey. I was going to ask about flexibility, strength, like the changes, even though you haven't been training. Like
Hmm.
for myself, I noticed a massive difference in even in flexibility from you know, eating you know, cooked vegan foods, or even if I ate, you know, a lot of juices and fruits and raw foods, but I ate cooked vegan as well, to a raw food and fruits and fasting. The flexibility aspect, like without practicing, would just be like mind blowing.
Yeah,
So different, so flexible. Yeah.
it's
So for
it's
you,
um yeah, it's you know how you're in your body every day, all day, and you're doing these things, so it's hard to notice until you kind of like look back and go, oh, I used to have that and that thing, and now it doesn't. It's just not existent in my body. Like for example, I used to be able to have like this much motion in my neck, and now I've got like a full. I can like spinal roll and things like this. My hip, I could barely be able to cross my legs over, and
what?
now I've got amazing mobility in my hips. So it's things like that. It was the reason why I stopped training for a while, I think, is to let the body heal and then come back to its natural state, which is this, which
Hmm.
is flexibility, and that I'm a lot more elastic and I feel more explosive, maybe not quite as strong as I was. I feel I'll be able to get that back. Um, but that's purely because I haven't been training as well.
Yeah.
So it was like this stripping away, coming back to like my foundations as a human body. And it's like, right, what do I want out of this experience? And then training it towards what I want to use it for. And that's, you know, to be running around hills, climbing up trees, playing with, you know, friends and doing random sports and things like that. So it's figuring out what you want in life and then really just having that as your North Star and working towards it. And I feel like the transitionary diet, as well as working on this thing and unwiring a lot of the limiting beliefs that we've been programmed from a young age towards a more limitless, free life.
Amen to that.
Mhm.
Yeah, amen to that, brother. Oh, I
And what
love it.
about you, Nova? Where are you at with everything at the moment? I see you've got two different offerings going at the moment. It's awesome to see like your evolution as not only like a human, but the like what you're offering and the growth of what you're doing. Like you've been doing this for years now, and it was a reason why I reached out to you in the first place.
Yeah.
It's starting to become a little bit more mainstream, not mainstream yet, but it was the same with the like when I started doing the breath work. It was still a little bit, you know, edgy, a
Yeah.
bit out there, a bit weird. And now it's like mainstream everywhere. Everyone's doing it, and I feel the similar thing's going to happen with this. People are going to catch on. They're going to realize that you can't live a happy life when you're full of shit, quite literally.
It's
Like you
just it.
can, but you have to do all the practices. But if you just clean this vessel, it makes everything just so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Um, sorry, but
When
yeah, where are you at with your
I
programs and things and your
was gonna
offering
say with your breath, like the breathwork movement, like when you guys started, it's so true. Like there was not much happening at the time, and then it exploded for you guys. Like it was hundreds on the beach doing your breathwork sessions. Like that was incredible. And yeah, now everyone does breathwork, which is amazing. And I feel like this is happening as well, because there are so many of us that have experienced it, and once you've experienced it, like we share it. No matter what that sharing looks like, we share it, and that's the little temples of light all over the world, right? And just spreading out and spreading out, and it's magic what's happening. That's how I feel. Like it's just, yeah, grassroots movement, I guess. Light movement. But yeah, for me, it feels like it's been a long journey, but it hasn't actually been that long. But the evolution has been beautiful, and I'm really loving it now. You know, there was a time where I was struggling a little bit because there's certain aspects of it that I felt there was a lot of mind. You know, I can't do it all, or it's too much, or, you know, because I've got my kids and, you know, how am I going to do everything? And I'm doing everything now. And I'm loving it. Yeah. Right? So it's just funny, like the mind. We put blocks. We really do put blocks on ourselves, and a lot of it, it's because we don't know, right? It's something new, and so therefore it's, you know, it's not just. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with uncomfortable, but it's some things you're like, no, I can't. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. But then you kind of open it up every time. You just crack open a little bit more and a little bit more, and then you realize, oh, actually, you know what? I'm just going to jump. Yeah. And then I'm just going to jump here. And that's what I've been doing. I've just been jumping. There's no more cracking open. Like.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great.
Yeah. To take a leap at some points when, you know, it's like, oh shit, what is it? What do I do? It's like, just choose one thing and fucking have a crack and go for it. Yeah, just do it. It's been amazing to watch. Yeah, you grow, and you know, the people that you've been able to help. You know, that's really what this is all about. It's like we feel this shift in ourselves, and we have this incredible experience. It's like, fuck, I want to share this with the world. And it's like, how do we go about that? And that's the art, that's the creativity, that's the dance. And it's been amazing to see all the humans that you've been helping, and you're starting to reach now. It's you deserve it all.
Thank you. Thanks, Roo. Oh, hi, Franca. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Sorry.
Should we do a couple of questions if anyone's got some questions?
I think so, because I've seen some comments, but we've been so in it.
Yeah, I've been in the vortex.
Any questions? I saw Danny. I don't know if Danny's there still. Hi, Danny. Yeah, let us know if there's any questions or anything you want to ask any of us.
There's been some a little bit further back.
If I was to begin, should I avoid supermarket bought fruit? Should I answer?
Yeah, you go.
Yeah. So for me, to be honest, if you can get organic, great. If you've got stuff growing in your garden, amazing. If you've got the farmers markets, great. You know, if you've got farmers that you know, or you can get to know these humans. But if all you've got access is all you've got access to, and that might be just conventional produce, do it. Because you can do it, you can heal yourself, you can feel amazing still on conventional produce. Wash it and then juice it or eat it or whatever it is. I healed myself on conventional produce. I did 40 days fasting on watermelons and oranges, pretty much, and they weren't organic. So there you go.
Yeah, it's I think it gets over fussed about, like, you can use, like, if you think it's really going to fuck with you, baking soda, just put it in baking soda for 15 minutes, and then it pretty much takes everything off the fruit.
Yeah.
That's for your mainly for your berries and stuff. I'd do that with. I wouldn't worry about it with much
Yeah,
else.
that's not. Yeah,
Because the bulk of the fruits from the
that's right.
inside.
Yeah.
What
What
happens if
happens if you?
you have
Oh yeah,
gut
good. You
issues?
go.
What happens if you have gut issues and react to things like oxalates, stalactites,
Salicylate. Yeah.
and food map fruits? It's generally because we've got a clogged up lymphatic system, and the body's not operating properly. The oxalates are the found in plants mainly, so we're not completely designed to eat plants. They can serve like how I've learned what herbs and plants do. Herbs are basically dried plants. Um, they help the body by actually activating a detoxification response in the body. So we have these different herbs, and then the body will start trying to get rid of it. And when it tries to get rid of it, it actually gets rid of other shit as well that's been stored in the system. So ideally, we want to be on as much fruit as we can, but even like just going straight into fruit's probably not the best idea. It's really smart to clean the mucoid plaque out of the internal walls of the intestines, because otherwise the body can't actually absorb what we're eating. And if we clear that out, the GI tract has a ionic pressure in it. So like the weather, if it's all clogged up, the body can't drain. So we need to clean that out first, and then the body can drain all the toxic waste and the shit that we've accumulated over years and years of abuse, really, or things that we've been consuming and exposed to in our environment. So that's an important part, is just cleaning it out to begin with. That's
Yeah.
when I came to know her, I was like, what's the best way to go about it? And she's like, if you really want to do it properly, do 3 months of these herbs, and it's this herbal mixture called Quenda Ultimate Fiber, and just have as high a fruit diet as you possibly can, and that's going to give the quickest and the most thorough way of cleaning that GI tract. So that's how I went about it. But if you have anything to add there, Nova, go for it.
Yeah. No. That's right. So any of those, when scientists love pulling stuff out of foods and saying, oh, we can't eat this because it's salicylates and oxalates and this and that, it's the problem is that we're backed up beyond anything, as you said. And so the clean out, that's why I'm so obsessed with cleaning out first, because it doesn't matter what you do. Yeah, you can do it in different ways, but for most people, we've reached a point where we've got so much shiz stuck inside us that we're going to react to everything. We have allergies, we have rashes, we have symptoms, we have pain, we have tumors and cysts, and all kinds of things, fibroids. Constantly with cold and flu, or constantly your body's trying to get rid of stuff. So you got to do a good clean out, and as you said, you got to spend at least a few months thinking in that way. And you can do it on fruits. If you want to up it even more, you do it on a juice fast and that herbal mixture, and you just go for it, because what's 3 months really in your whole lifespan that's going to absolutely shift everything. And then what happens when you get rid of so much of that gunk that causes you cravings, that causes you to feel like shiz, exhausted and tired and depressed, anxious, all of these things. You've got the critters associated with that situation, because they're all there trying to break that stuff down. They came in with that food and they're there multiplying, thriving, having a great time. What's that? Candida, all the other bacterial stuff, the fungus everywhere, worms and parasites of different kinds, and they all have consciousness. So the more of them that are inside us, the more we're hijacked as well, because they want what they want. And a lot of the times it's actually not what you want. Your body doesn't want. That's what we talk about with the foods. So we evict a lot of that, and it's so much easier to then choose the right thing and continue on the path. That's why it's so great to do that, to go in, full in, right? That's why you were saying that as well. It's like you just go in and you clear out, and then it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because then, a lot of people want to take it slower and go fully raw from, whatever diet they're on. And that's great. That's amazing. You'll find you will feel a lot better in general. But if you've got a lot of these issues like oxalates and salicylates and blah, 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 right, all of these situations where you react, you're going to keep reacting to these foods as well, even if they're raw and living in better, because there's just so much in there. So it's going to take a lot longer for your body to eliminate. That's why, yeah, the deep end is good.
On your point there, Nova, I was really concerned. I was like, because I was coming off, that animal-based kind of Paul Saladino diet, and I was loving my steaks. I was loving my meat. I was like, how am I ever going to go without this?
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. After about 2 or 3 weeks, zero craving, zero. And I put that down to the bacteria in the gut changing and getting rid of the parasites, like you're saying. These little fellas in our gut, they can actually hijack our nervous system and influence how we think. And they send signals going, I want this, when it's not actually you that wants it. Or it's not the little healthy guys in there that are asking for that. It's the addiction that the microbiome in our gut has influenced in our body, and it starts influencing our brain. And we think we need these things, and it's like this stimulation in the brain. It's an addiction. A lot of the foods we eat are very addictive in their nature.
Yeah.
Salt, oil, and sugar. There's a book on it, and that guy that runs the fasting retreat in America, he heals people from everything, but he does straight water fasting. That's the real extreme version of this stuff. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but really good book. Salt, oil, and sugar. Another really good book is The Mucusless Diet by Arnold Ehret. That's an amazing one. I'm not sure if you have any other recommendations. Is the Grape Cure?
The Grape Cure, the Detox Miracle Source book by Dr. Robert Morse.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
That's incredible.
Morse is amazing.
Yeah, those, all of those, they're great to have and to read. Yeah.
There's another question here, Nova. This one will be a good one for you. I'm craving a plant-based diet, raw diet. I can't look at most foods I used to love. Is the constant juicing bad for your teeth, though?
That depends. Look, it's not. I don't think it's the juicing itself. It depends on the fruit, because it's not the sugar in itself. If it's real fructose or glucose, it's not that we're talking about that actually ruins your teeth. It's the acids. So if it's not ripe, if the fruits are not ripe, and that's a problem, obviously, in this modern day, and where we get access to these fruits that aren't ideal, then you have to make sure that your mouth is within a certain pH range. So you can go and get those pH strips as well, and just have good mouth hygiene. If you need to neutralize your pH, stay on top of that, definitely long term. If you're just doing short fast and things like that, like don't get too obsessed. But it is important, definitely, for long-term dental health, and that's on any diet. That's on any diet. If you can be on your mainstream diet, and you need to, make sure that the pH in your mouth of your saliva, which is always swishing around your teeth, if it's acidic, you're gonna have issues. And it also relates to the entire digestive system, because it's just a tube that's open. So if you've got issues further down, bad breath and all of it, like that's all connected. So, yeah.
That's the cool thing about this stuff as well. Your shit stops stinking. You don't have BO. Your breath doesn't smell. Like this is real. This is like real life. And I tell people that, and they go, "Fuck off." I'm like, it's the truth. It's the truth, and it's like you look at an animal shit. It doesn't stink. It doesn't stink.
Unless you fed it.
It's like,
unless you fed it, right?
Well,
The dogs.
unless it's like
Oh,
unless it's a human looked after animal that's fed
yes.
bullshit as well. Those
Yeah.
ones stink. Cats.
Yeah.
You go out and like
Not
other
in the
animals.
wild.
No.
No.
So yeah, that was another like brain click for me. But there's a question here that you might be able to answer better than me, Nova. I've been told the parasites love all sugar, so only been doing vegetables and bone broth.
No. No. Parasites, and they feed off complex sugars or even cooked sugars, but not fructose and not glucose. That's
I
the
think
simple
people,
monosaccharides. Yeah.
yeah, people have a very there's a big misconception around fructose and sugar found in fruit and like you're saying complex sugars or sugars refined sugars. They're completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. It's like trying to compare a fat and a carbohydrate. It's like a different thing.
Yeah.
So don't put fruit in the sugar basket because it's not the same thing.
No.
The one thing that was really interesting came out of Stanford University is they realized that the brain converts glucose into fructose for fuel.
Yeah.
The brain being the number one conductor of this body and the perception that we see this world in, it needs to operate first. It is like the most crucial thing in this life. And the body or the brain converts glucose like a normal like sugar into fructose, which is a more simple
Yeah.
sugar for the brain. So it's literally the number one fuel source for our brain. If you want a nootropic, if you want something to help your brain work well, eat some more fruit.
Yeah. Eat just fruit and watch
That's fruit.
just what happens to your mind. Like I loved what you said there. It reminded me of what you said at the beginning about even through your breathwork journey and how you exploded in love, and you were just when you started your breathwork journey. And I had that same experience. And it was during my 40-day juice fast, and I was on day 20 and did that hour-long breathwork journey,
Mm-hmm.
and I was never the same. Just it resonated so deeply when you were speaking about it. Like I've never been the same because I was love. I fused and dissolved into love, and I loved everyone, and it was incredible. Um, and from there, the connection to everyone and everything just has expanded. And I guess my physical and my mind had to catch up to that as well. But yeah, this is, this is brain food. This is real fuel, energy, um,
Yeah.
uninhibited, that doesn't cause obstruction to the flow
There's
of energy.
there's the man that facilitated your breath. Try. Welcome, brother.
Hi, Trey. I didn't see him come on. Hi, Trey. Welcome. Yes, that he's the man that conducted that transformational breathing session. That
Mm.
I'm telling you, yeah,
Yeah. If we just strip everything back and look at it as energy, you want to put high vibrational energy into your body. Putting decaying animal flesh that's been sitting on the store of a supermarket that you don't know where it's from, oftentimes, it's not a high vibrational energy. It's as simple as that. A piece of nature that wants you to eat it, that's created from stored sunlight energy. It's called biophotons. It's got the perfect structure of water in it, and the body works best. It's like an oil, like for your car, putting
hmm
this fluid, putting this hydration into the body. And when the body's well hydrated, it can eliminate anything. Doesn't matter the toxins in your environment. This machine, this piece of biotech, it is very, very intelligent. And all it really requires is to be well hydrated. So number one, the best forms of hydration are coconut water, watermelon juice, cucumbers. Think of like very watery fruits.
Yeah.
They're what you're wanting to be putting in, and then you like spring water is up there, but it's takes a little bit of energy for the body to turn it into the ideal structure, but it's still a good way to filter. But if we want really good hydration, we're wanting those fruits and things like coconut water that already have that kind of like silky feel to it, and it's where fruit juice is really good. But make sure to chew your fruit juice, because then you get the digestive enzymes and it tells the body it's got some energy coming in, and then it gets ready and it can absorb it better.
Yeah. Yeah. You start breaking it down. And it's alive. So the thing is, you're talking about different foods that, like think in the way that the wild animals think. It's alive. Like what everyone consumes is alive in their species specific diet. The problem that we've had is that we've made putting food to fire and mixing a million ingredients together normal, and not just normal. We've made it cooking shows, and and fiestas and parties and every celebration and every excuse, and we've celebrated this creation of what we're intaking, and it's no longer food. It's no longer recognizable to the body, and that's the key, because a lion eats the gazelle straight up. It's alive. The gazelle is alive. It's pulsing with life force. There's blood pumping through. There's just, that's the life force that the animal is consuming. It's actually, I don't even think it's about the meat. It's the life force. Yeah, and they're built to move that flesh and grit and so on through the digestive tract in order to consume the life force and the hydration of the other being. So we're not actually built to, consume the life force and hydration of the gazelle or the cow or the pig. We're not. Because if we did, we would be doing it. Instead, we go to a supermarket and then we cook it and then we season it and we mix it and then we eat it. But that wasn't even alive yesterday. That thing was alive who knows when. And it's been put through with chemicals to keep it stored, and it's decayed, rotting flesh put to fire and put, with a million ingredients to actually consume. And then we think that we're actually gaining energy from it, but it's robbing us every single time. It's robbing us of our energy, because we are higher vibrational beings, and that piece of whatever it is has zero in it. There's nothing in it. So we have to, there's a, when we've got those wheels spinning of vibrational frequency at different, speeds, they're going to start matching each other at a different frequency, which is going to be lower than ours. And over time, we're just going and lowering our vibrational frequency, because we consume foods that are dead or dying. That's really where it's at.
It's just heavier, and yeah, you're right. It just takes, like, you speak a lot more straight to it than I do a lot of the time, because I know it's like fucking religion, what people eat and the diets and that kind of thing. So it can be a touchy subject, triggering. But I just tend to just share like you've just done, sharing our experience, and if people are ready and want to take a step, we'll be here sharing and with open arms, going, all right, let's start here. But for me, this is all about the individuals that are ready to create change in their life and that want to just give it a go, that are curious and trust, and the intuitive guidance is going, okay, this is something that I want to give a go. And for me, what actually got me into it was the thought of just seeing it as a cleanse. I was like, all right, I'm just going to do this for the 3 months and
Yeah.
do it as a cleanse. And then whatever I feel at the end of that is what I'll go with. I may go back to my animal-based diet, I may not. I'll see what happens. And
Yep.
at the end of it, it was like all, there was no option. It was like it was so clear what I wanted to be fueling and consuming for the rest of my life. And it's not saying it won't change as
Mm.
I continue to evolve, but it feels like the truest path for me at the moment. Um, yeah, so if people are interested and curious, I'd approach it as seeing it as a cleanse. It's not like a
That's right.
be all or end all thing, and just give it a go. See how your body reacts and feels. By also recommend doing it with a professional, someone to guide you, the likes of Nova or myself, just so you've got someone to ask those questions to when they pop up and they arise, because they will, rather than just going about it alone and trying to figure it all out for yourself. You can save yourself a lot of time and heartache and headache by
Literally.
and I know Nova does it with communities and things like that, and so do I. And I think that's a beautiful way to do this kind of thing, is with a group of people that are on a similar wavelength, on a similar journey of self-exploration and wanting to, create a healthy body and system, and see what the potential is within this lifetime.
Mm. Yeah, that's it. Exploration and keeping it free, because the mind, even just wanting to change the diet, or even just wanting to do a short fast, or to, what, a fruit feast or whatever, to give it a go, the mind is already like, oh, can't do it. But all we got to do is, hey, I'm just going to do this for 2 weeks, for a month, for 3 months. This is what I'm going to do. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to eat the foods that I am craving and wanting to eat, right? It doesn't mean that they're going to disappear forever. They're always there. I can choose, you can choose to eat whatever I want, whatever you want. Freedom. But then you have different choices. It changes. So just by allowing to just be free, you go with what really feels right. From I guess, we think we eat intuitively. This is one thing I always speak of, but the intuition is very much hijacked, and we don't realize that until we start clearing out a lot of the gunk and the parasites and bacteria and so on, and then all of a sudden our intuition is very, very different.
Mm.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we should maybe wrap it up soon. It's coming up on an hour and a half, so
Yes.
maybe we do six
Perfect.
more minutes. But I was there's a lady here. Oh, Liz, I know Elizabeth. She goes, "Is that why we feel so tired after eating a steak sandwich?"
Yeah.
Exactly. All your energy is going into digestion.
Yeah.
It's needing, it's got a big, heavy hunk of dense matter coming through it, and it needs a lot of energy to process that, to break it down and to move it through your body. But you put a light, hydrating, easily digestible fruit through it, you actually gain energy. It's there's a unit of measurement they use to measure food, and it's called angstroms. Fruit, or the human body, vibrates at something like 7,000. Fruit vibrates at 13,000. Vegetables around the same or slightly less. Raw vegetables. As soon as anything's cooked, it's down at 1,000 angstroms. So think of that vibrational energy. If it's fruit and raw vegetables, is actually increasing the vibration of the body. If anything cooked or dense, it's really slowing it down. So it's the body's having to give energy instead of receive energy from it. That was when I read that really helped me understand how this works in terms of the energetic flow in the body. There's a couple more questions here. When I was a vegan, I bruised easily and lost a lot of weight. Any advice to avoid this and stay optimally healthy?
Mm. Well, I think when we say vegan, there's so many ways you can be vegan. You can be vegan and consuming, you know, potatoes and fake meats, or even just like everything really cooked and dense and not much fruits and raw veggies. Or what, you know, so it depends on that, on what's actually the diet, what the diet is actually like. But what I always come back to is the body has accumulated so much waste internally, and for us to really feel the the amazing benefits, basically, of a, you know, I wouldn't even call it vegan. I would just say more living foods diet, right? Then you have to cleanse out and support certain organ systems, which, you know, in most of our cases, we have lower functioning kidneys, adrenals, thyroid. You know, that most of those symptoms that were stated, adrenals and thyroid. You know, these are endocrine glands that have been suppressed and covered in our own crap, basically, lymphatically, for a long time. So we need to clear them, and in clearing them, that's actually supporting them. You can support with some herbs as well during the process. But then after that, it is sticking to a more living foods diet in general, and that's for anyone. You know, that's I guess my advice. No matter what, whether you continue eating what, you know, some cooked foods or some meat or whatever it is, if you increase the living foods, the percentage of it, you're going to start feeling very, very different. And those other things might start just coming away, you know, naturally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, thank you, Ruth. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That's been really fun. Enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Thanks for reaching out to do this. Maybe we'll do another one if we get some good feedback. I think we've had like close to 30 people on the whole time, which has been pretty cool.
Amazing. Yeah.
And I'll save this, and it'll be able to go on both of our accounts. I saw someone asking if that was possible.
Yeah.
And then I might even be able to download it and then clip up some clips from the goodness.
Amazing. Thank you, Ruth. Thanks for your time. Thank you all. Big love. Big love. Let's go. Wait, you got to come over here soon.
Yeah, I'll be back
in person.
It's too cold.
Yeah, I figured. All right. Keep
Thank
warm.
you all for tuning in. Big love. Mwah.
Ciao.